Godzilla vs. Kong is directed by Adam Wingard, starring Rebecca Hall, Alexander Skarsgård, Kyle Chandler, Millie Bobby Brown, amongst many other people. The basic plot of this movie is that Kong and Godzilla have to get into a fight after it seems that Godzilla is causing havoc among the human population after being viewed as a hero of sorts by the public. Certain things lead to others, and we get a big confrontation between the two title monsters. Assuming that some of you have seen it by now, I'm going to go into some details, not everything, but if you don't want to know, if you haven't seen it, that's your warning. When it comes to me and Godzilla and King Kong, I'm not like a big fan of either characters, although I do understand the appeal that they both have. I've never seen the original King Kong from 1933, it's on my to-watch list, but I have seen the Peter Jackson one from 2005, which I thought was not bad, but way too long. And I feel like Peter Jackson in some ways was kind of overdoing it with certain aspects and certain sequences. And I haven't watched Kong Skull Island either from a few years ago, because at the time I didn't really look that interesting to me. But thanks to this movie, I'm actually kind of curious. Godzilla, on the other hand, I have yet to see the original, but I do remember the 1998 film by Roland Emmerich with Matthew Broderick. It's been a long time since I've watched it in its entirety, because I know a lot of people don't like the movie. I remember it being kind of fun, but also kind of stupid. I was 8 years old, and I didn't really know any better, obviously. But I do want to see it again at some point. And the 2014 Godzilla with Bryan Cranston was not too bad. Just wish there was more of Bryan Cranston, though. And the one that we got 2 years ago with Godzilla, with the monsters or whatever, I didn't even bother seeing that. That looked like a snooze fest. But as far as this movie, though, after everything that we've been through this past year, I just wanted to go to the movies, kick my seat back, and just have a good time watching these two monsters fight, which I am certainly glad that I went to see this in the local theater near my house. As far as I'm concerned, that needs to be seen on the big screen. If people want to watch it on streaming, that's totally fine. I completely understand, but as far as myself, that needs to be seen on the big screen. And thankfully, it all paid off for me. Well, for the most part. As far as character stuff goes, this is a common problem that we see in monster films. The human characters mostly aren't really that compelling. Like in the 2014 Godzilla, when we had Bryan Cranston really stealing your heart, and only to have him be written out after the first third of the movie, to have this really boring central protagonist in Aaron Taylor Johnson, for me that was a huge missed opportunity. Thankfully, this movie doesn't waste any time in trying to give us some really good reasons to root for these people. It has the basic bare minimum character stuff that you need in a movie like this, giving you their motivations, why they're there, and that's the end of it. There's no need to explain anything else. As far as main characters go, the ones by Alexander Skarsgård and Rebecca Hall, they're basically the protagonists of this movie, and I found myself somewhat interested in what they were doing, and mostly it's because of the little girl who's able to communicate with Kong, and I actually thought that was really touching and really added a lot of heart and emotion to the movie, and honestly for me, it commanded my attention. On the other side of that, with the Godzilla storyline, we have Millie Bobby Brown, Brian Tyree Henry, and the kid from the second Deadpool movie that Cable comes back to kill. I don't know the guy's name. Julian Dennison, maybe? I don't know. And the character of Millie Bobby Brown, her father, is played by Kyle Chandler, who, interestingly enough, was also in the 2005 King Kong movie. That storyline I didn't really care about as much. Brian Tyree Henry was somewhat funny at times. He's like this conspiracy theorist podcaster who actually has some really crazy ideas about what the government's doing with these monsters, and in the movie it actually turns out to be true. But I think sometimes he got a little too overbearing for me, and the kid from Deadpool 2, I did not care about that guy at all. As far as Millie Bobby Brown, she plays the part fine. Her character's just kind of there. They're basically going on this mission to find out what exactly this big corporation's up to, and they end up creating a mecha Godzilla, like a mechanical Godzilla, to take on these two monsters. Both Kong and Godzilla end up actually fighting in the middle of the downtown area of Hong Kong. I actually found Kong's storyline a bit more interesting because they're trying to find this mythical place that's supposedly King Kong's home. They literally go down into the center of the earth and they find this big prehistoric landscape where the landscape is actually mirrored as you look into the sky, almost kind of like Inception or Doctor Strange. People complain about CGI effects in movies. I don't see how anybody can dispute how great this looks. The director, Adam Wingard, does a really great job of capturing the scale and size of these two monsters. Even though I find it really weird that King Kong is a lot larger than he appeared in other films that he's been in, Godzilla is about the same size, and it's still like, oh my word. And the fight scenes that we get between the two are really entertaining to see. Every time Kong punched Godzilla in the face, I found myself throwing my fist into the air. And just to clear the air on that, I'm Team King Kong. Yep, I said it. If you want to hate me for that, go ahead. I'm just saying I found myself gravitated towards King Kong. That's all. And I like the POV shot of when we see a punch being thrown towards these other creatures as if the camera's right on Kong's arm or on the axe that he ends up fighting in his home. I found myself getting a little motion sickness as if I was riding on a roller coaster. And the damage that they cause in these areas that they fight in, it's just absolutely ridiculous. Anyone who's a fan of monster movies who wants to see big destructive scenes, you're gonna have a blast with this one. And it's even more satisfying when you finally see them beat the Mecha Godzilla when they team up together to fight it. So I had a really good time with Godzilla vs. Kong. As far as a crowd-pleasing film, it's a solid A+. Character-wise, not so much. But with a movie like this, you don't go see it for the human characters. You just want to see the monsters fight each other. And if you're gonna watch it with that lens, you'll have a good time. If you want something a little bit more out of the characters, it's probably gonna make you groan. And I didn't expect anything else going in. Although, I don't disagree that it could be done a little bit better, but like I said, with the way things have been going this past year, I just wanted to have a good time with it and nothing else, which is exactly what I got. And I would not be surprised if there's some kind of sequel further down the line. Those are my thoughts on Godzilla vs. Kong. What are your guys' thoughts? Comment below and tell me, and I'll see you guys in the next video.